Hi, YouTube family, YouTube people. How are you? How's everyone faring in the world today? Hope you're all doing well. The land around you, your family, your friends, and you yourself are doing as well as can be. I haven't done a video in quite a while because I've been doing a lot of integration on my own self and that type of thing. So today's video is a little bit about some of that, and also a little bit about what's going on during the nighttime. Some of the celestial things, and I say celestial because they're up in the sky, that have been brought to my attention or that I noticed in the sky recently. So, a lot of you don't know this, but I'm not far from Mount Shasta. I'm in Southern Oregon, and where I'm at is on this amazing ley line grid that connects to Mount Shasta. And there's definitely what I call Lemurian energy here and Shasta energy. There's a vortex not far from here. I think it all plays in. So I know that there has been a release of what is called satellite bits. I think they're called satellite bits. Because the other night, looking at the moon, we saw this line of lights that seemed to stop at the moon and not go past the moon. And even one of them seemed to stop and like hover over the moon. And I looked it up on the UFO reporting hotline, which I didn't even know there was one. So that's pretty exciting. That they're called satellite links or something like that, that were launched last year, and you will see a sequence of anywhere from like 10 to 17 of them in a line. And the UFO hotline is asking people to stop reporting those because those are not UFOs. Well, I'm willing to accept that those were some type of satellite thing. I just don't understand why we didn't see them go past the moon. Okay, now I'm gonna switch, and this was like 3 nights ago. I think Friday night, possibly Friday night, possibly Saturday night, one of those 2 nights. And then, no, it was Friday night. Friday night, okay. Today's Monday. That helps when you're watching this. And then last night, the moon, just the moon. I don't know if anybody else felt this, but I felt and heard this singing from the moon, like this sound bath vibration. Plus the colors around the moon were like pink and purple and blue and green, and almost like the sun rays coming off. Felt like they were like shooting down to earth. And then I thought, well, if I was a satellite, I'd want to land on the moon too if those were the things that were happening. So what I've been hearing is that yes, we have galactic folks, galactic beings, and we have our own space monitoring things. But a lot of Lemurian information has been, a lot of Lemurian energy has been coming through. So, okay. For some reason, I'm going here right now. So, Thoth is known to be the moon god. I know that we're in Ramadan right now, and that there are several. We're still in Ramadan. There are several religions and groups that follow the moon. I relate that to the feminine divine. I relate that to what we consciously call time, and then it also links to emotions. And I know that there's a lot of astrological stuff going on. I'm not an astrologist, but I definitely, from when I watch people speak about astrology, I can it helps because then I think, oh, that must be what I've been feeling, or that must be the energy that's coming through, without really selectively paying attention to astrology. I have begun and consciously work on remembering my chart, where my nodes are, and I have to constantly go back to it because it is, for me, I'm not used to that. And with everything that's going on in the world, what we're all going through together right now, I think that there is a link to that. The reason why I mentioned Thoth and the Lemurians is I actually think that there's more of a connection there than we've been told, because Atlantis and Lemuria share this, I would call, magical energy systems, or magical. To even call it magical makes it sound like it's impossible, but a tangible working of creating miracles or magic, possible things that we might think are impossible, and bringing them to fruition and sharing them with people. Like the connection to the planet, the connection to the stars. I mean, these are if you're watching me, you're already somebody who thinks that way and feels that way and is venturing towards that way. And we have the light languages and vibrational languages, maybe, or languages that we don't consciously understand as a language. You know, people call them tongues and such. So this link, satellite link, click, to the moon, to our emotions, to what's happening, to time, which is always happening, the past, or now said future, or the now, and this almost like a communication that is more felt than it is heard or seen. And then there are many people who can see and hear all of these things, right? And that great link to everything. So along with the shifting of consciousness, or the shift is our own inner shifting. So with that has been a lot of I let one of my habits go that I've literally I smoke a lot of herb, and came to a place where it just actually exacerbated or made worse my symptoms of, say, paranoia, or not feeling safe, or feeling something else. So I just let it go. I just completely let it go. And it hasn't been that long, yet I have noticed that the emotional ranges have become more balanced. And then in that, able to bring in more things that are beneficial. One of the things I'm working towards is getting my license back, and my massage license back, up and going, so that I can do that on a regular and just have that reminder of health and well-being be a little bit more solid. That will also help bring in the Reiki, and then a lot of what I've shared on here has been a lot about like the Sibyls and remembering the Great Mother. And that has actually amplified in a way because I've become a little bit more self reliant on my messages that I'm getting, my own spiritual connection, and dreams. And in that, sharing some of the dreams and some of these feelings that have been going on with others, a reminder that for 7 generations back, we are repatterning and redefining our genetic lineages as far as healing. And whew, that's intense because it's pretty cool, because what I've noticed is a lot of people are also seeing those things and shifting those things and feeling those things and wanting to bring that ancestral healing to their families, and kind of release old cords or old programming is the best word for it, or old negatives. I don't like to use the word negative because it gives a negative connotation to negative, because I actually think that sometimes a negative is actually a positive. I'll get into that in another video. I talked a little bit about that in the one in the circle, and how we can let go of something or minus something or negative something and actually create a whole nother whole. And so with that is recognizing that as we go into our work, making ourselves more whole, that we are the pebble in the water, so to speak. And I do see it reflecting outwardly in my life in very small ways. One is my relationship with my mom, and because of my relationship with myself, responding differently and doing that work, doing a lot of the emotional work that has been ignored throughout my life, putting off certain emotions, putting off. And I realize as putting off certain emotions, it makes it easier to put off other things that can resemble those emotions, like taking care of certain things, right? Taking care of bills and so simple mundane things that are like, I don't know, boring or tedious, where I will also do that with my own self, what I consider emotional work or expressing being tedious and or boring. Who wants to hear that, or who wants to deal with that, or who wants to actually do that work? Well, it doesn't really matter, right? It just matters that I'm doing it, and also do this. I'm gonna share with you guys that I guess there's some sort of support in doing that tedious slash boring work. By researching CPSD and researching codependency, and also like narcissistic survivors, and the effects those things can have on us and the world, has been a journey I never really suspected I would go down. And I feel like it incorporates all those things I just mentioned. Past stuff related to Lemuria, Atlantis, and then the now and mundane stuff, such as, self-isolating or having to be isolated, and working to shift how we are, even in our own homes and in our own careers and that type of thing. And then outreaching in ways that we may not have before, because those options maybe weren't even necessary, let alone even an option. So, with all that said, a lot of the energy, especially for this month, that I've been feeling is it almost feels like someone is pushing me or arm in arm with me to give little hints as to what can be healed and worked on and what is not actually mine in this lifetime but could have been passed down to me through my genetics, and consciously and emotionally working on recognizing it, facing it, and then making conscious choices to shift it. And cleaning out, detoxing, so to speak, and detoxing in a way that isn't judgy, if that makes any kind of sense. And then I just want to share with you all some of the things that I like to bring in to help with both my mental health and with my own physical health. So what I've been bringing in to help with my mental health are some tinctures. If you follow me on Instagram, I posted a picture of these things a little while ago. One of my friends practices herbal medicines and studies herbal medicines and sent some skullcap tincture, hawthorn tincture, and lobelia. So the skull cap is excellent to help with calming the nervous system when I'm feeling super anxiety, or that feeling of just like a little drop under the tongue has definitely helped mellow that feeling. I know the lobelia will help clear the lungs. And then I actually recognized, by letting go of the herb, I am able to be more in my emotional consciousness. For example, receiving news about the less structured and difficult retaining my license was like, I'm so excited. This is such a relief. And not a simple, but a major gratitude in recognizing that if it weren't for what is happening in the world right now, this wouldn't have become as attainable. And so, with that, being a little bit more creative, I learned a long time ago through a friend and I make that look because we're no longer friends, but at the time we were friends, and I learned how to make candles. So I've been making candles, and one of the candles I made is specifically to be lit for those who are affected by what's going on right now, and just kind of recognize that some of our lives have been benefited in ways that we would not have seen had it not been for what's going on. And then also to recognize that a lot of people's lives have not been benefited by this, and just to put that energy out there through the candle to invite some light for that, for them, for those people. They're smarty. You must need to go outside. And then before I jump off and help him out, I also want to share that some of the things are green drinks, putting green spirulina and other things like alfalfa, wheatgrass supplements or powders in my drinks. That's helped. Calcium bentonite. Of course, I'm just sharing this is what I do. This is not, I'm not a doctor. This is not specifically something that I am telling you to do. I'm just sharing with you what I'm doing, and feel free to look it up and or check it out with your doctor. Calcium bentonite powder. I will make a little bit before I go to bed and drink that to help pull extra toxins out of my body. And I made the candles, and then a little bit more art, sharing and creating. So, and a little bit of outside work, like a little tiny bit of landscaping and spending time outside, which I hope you all get to do. I know some people don't even get to go outside. So I'm going to share a little bit of this outside with you all. And the trees. It was sunny till about 15 minutes ago. And yeah, spending time outside, spending time with the animals, and doing a little extra homework so that I can better myself. Okay. Anything else I wanted to share? Oh, and a little bit more writing. A little bit more writing and dreams. If you're having, I know I am, super intense dreams. I've recently heard that, and I'm not the only one saying this, that these are definitely some extra messages from our galactic beings, our own ancestral lineage, and a bit of our own personal remembrance as to what we may need, what we may have forgotten, or what we may witness, so to speak, for our own selves and outwardly in the world. Okay. So I wish you all wellness and take care of yourselves. I wish your animals and your families wellness along with you, and your animals as well, and the land around you. And many thanks to those of you who are, so to speak, on the front lines of still being essential workers and putting yourselves in some compromising positions so that the rest of us can have a semblance of some normalcy and health. So thank you. And all right, until next time, take care.